happened back in the day about the, rested soul of the COAS, saying, oh, he's dead and all of that. When there is no official statement, it's beginning to seem as though y'all were wishing him dead in the first place. But then we cannot also take away the parts of, transparency on the part of the government. If, as it happens, you let us into some of these things, and we don't have to want to speculate, we don't have to want to go and do a research or allow curiosity because of some sort of loopholes, that or inconsistencies that you've put out there, then we will not be having issues of having to point fingers at the government and saying, oh, y'all didn't come out to say the truth, because we called it rumors then, but then it became the reality. Right? I wouldn't want to delve so deeply into it so it doesn't become political. But what is not political? I mean, when you're talking about social, cultural, social, political, you have to still talk politics, because politics is one way of talking about how you choose or decision making and the choices you make, and that's what it is all about. Yeah, so you can see it from different angles, on the part of policymakers, on the part of the people themselves, and I fear that is becoming a narrative with us, that even in our usual conversation, business conversation, you will say one thing today and then suddenly because another thing the next day. Really right. Sad.
Let's hear what your thoughts are.
I don't know. I'd like to stand on the fence, not even sit on the fence now, because my butt might actually get hurt.
Stand on the fence.
On the fence.
Yeah.
One thing is actually certain. A number of Nigerians always give X, formerly Twitter, so much accolade and recognition in terms of the level of bantering going on there. At the same time, it's safe to say that X is like a beehive, of activities, activity rather for sane and insane viewpoints. Yes. So if you don't have a thick skin, you shouldn't be on X, one would say. When policies are suggested and somehow implemented, the leaders actually expect Nigerians to be very receptive. It's either you're receptive or you're going to react, on the contrary. Now, with regards to the federal government now, rescinding the earlier policy of pegging a benchmark, right, or age limit to admission into tertiary institutions. Yeah. Well, one would say that as at when the former minister Tahir Mamman was the Minister of Education, right, that policy did not go down well with a number of people because, like you said, Martha, in other climes or developed nations, people they go to school, they start school early and they graduate early, and it does not stop you from acquiring the right knowledge that you need to live your life and also navigate as an adult or young adult. So why should the case be different here in Nigeria? Now we have a new minister who has come on board to say that, well, since that policy didn't go down well with Nigerians, let me do something different, because for a number of Nigerians, I saw a number of tweets on X at the time when Tahir Mamman was removed, and a number of Nigerians were like, oh, his downfall, or that policy of pegging a benchmark to admission was like his karma or his downfall. So a lot was actually expected of the new minister to either rescind that decision or to work on it in a way that it will suit the larger public or population. That aside, you bringing in the family context of a father coming up with an instruction for the family or children, and then nobody, not even the mother or the children, saying that, oh no, this policy is too harsh and all of that. I think that's a different context from leadership, because this actually entails a little bit of high-handedness, if you ask me. You cannot be completely lenient as a leader.
Exactly.
Else people will take you for granted. So it is very important. And at the same time, when you say, of course, government is a continuum, they say, right? So if I happen to be the president today and somehow I incurred, truckload of debt, you understand, before you came in to take over, what are you going to do?
You're going to pay. Obviously, you will pay. Because how many times? You will strategize.
You're going to strategize.
Exactly. You will strategize, but you will pay.
When you say that you expect someone, whether you're new or old in an office or position, to how would I put it, continue from where your predecessor stopped. I think you can actually see that from different perspectives. Right. So I don't see anything wrong with the new Minister of Education rescinding the decision of the former minister. With regards to the
But you have also said right now that when this person is in office and the other person comes, and because the larger population complained about that policy, he had to recede on that policy. Now, larger population is relative. Larger population that speaks to you. Do you get? So if you're Omoife and there's myself, there's Uduak, and there's Benedicta, and there's Ifunsha, all four of us, you know, and all three people are speaking to you. Oh, Omoife, receive this policy. Do you understand? And the other two people are speaking. Oh, because they are not so close to you, they are saying, maintain the policy, maintain. I hope you know that the larger population are people that are closer to you.
Right.
Right? And these people might not be fully aware of the implication of that policies. And that's why you can't listen to everybody. You also said strategy. It's less than 2 weeks this person assumed office, right? What you do is to study the environment, you know, because we have seen cases where these people receive on these policies and a few weeks settled into the office, they come now and give another narrative that, oh, we have to go back there because maybe they didn't really study why that person came about that policy. When they settled in the office, they now realized after they had already receded that policy. Now, the thing is, if he is taking off of office, because again, life is not predictable. We're just talking about Lagbaja, right? Yes, retired General Lagbaja right now. Life is so unpredictable. He's not in office tomorrow. The person who comes in does what? They need to be like, you need to test run a policy. As long as you have concluded on that policy, let's test run this policy for 6 months. Whether this person is in office or not, let's test run it for 1 year. The policy has already been introduced, and we have settled on whether Nigerians like it or not. The policies have already been settled on, right? Take for instance subsidy. Is it biting you or not?
It is.
Did the government receive that policy? Because they know beyond reasonable doubt that the greater good of taking out this subsidy is a lot more beneficial to Nigerians than retaining the subsidy. So they maintained that stand, right? So you see that we should see that in certain other areas.
You know, but when, I'm sorry to interject. When you say that it's barely 2 weeks, you know, since this new minister, you know, assumed duty, then what also happens to the fact that Nigerians will say you need to hit the ground running, like,
come on.
I don't know about that.
Well, you're right. You know, you need to hit the ground running, but then there's somebody there before you, and that's another practice that we are failing as Nigerians now, because we don't always want to recognize the other person that was there
before you.
Stay there, and that's why I think the part where Martha, you know, said assess the situation, assess it first, and then when you assess it, then you have an ample, you know, idea into what's next to do. But many a time, and I brought it back to the family, you know, many a time, even within us, within our, you know, small circles, right, we don't access